Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. It's time for my latest video with Imagine, and today we're going to be using a bunch of different inks and techniques to make one really cute Christmas card. So I've got a bunch of Memento markers here. I'm not sure how many people are using them. They're really great. I've used them for many years. In fact, my style is pretty old. You can see this Dandelion here has a different cap from the new sprout that I'm showing. I have the old version. The Dandelion is the newer style. We're going to be using a Stamptember set from Simon Says Stamp and Tim Holtz. This is from 2020. Now, there are other cats that look like this. You can use any critter that you want. Doesn't matter. The point is to get out some smooth Bristol cardstock, some Nocturne VersaFine Clair, ink up that critter, and then color it in with some Memento markers. Now these are water-based markers. The same kind of techniques that you can do with other watercolor markers, you can do with the Mementos. They have a felt brush tip on one side and the other is a small like bullet nib. That's really great for writing or small details. I'm starting off with London Fog, and we're going to color this kitty gray. This is the lighter of the two grays. The second gray is Gray Flannel, I believe it's called. Yep, Gray Flannel. And I'll be using that for some shadowing, for some striping, things like that. So that's the Gray Flannel here. And this is just really quick, very, very basic coloring. But I just wanted you to see how nice these colors are and how quickly you can color something up with them. The Memento markers all coordinate back to the Memento Inks. So if you already like Memento Inks, then I highly recommend getting some of these markers so that you have coordinated sets. We're going to work with Ladybug now, and I'm going to start off with that small bullet nib. Now, I've got to be honest, my Ladybug marker is getting a little dry. She's well loved. So I decided to flip it over and go with the brush tip, but you can use either side, but you could see that it's really quick and easy to color these in. And now we're going to go in with Cottage Ivy. We're going to do mostly traditional colors on this card. I did add pink. I like having pink with, Christmas cards. I don't know what it is. I just do. I think it looks cool. It kind of elevates it a little bit. It keeps it, it's still traditional, but then it gives you kind of a pop, right? So now I have Angel Pink, and we're going to use this on the stocking. And I'm just coloring this in really quickly. You can go in and shade if you want to. You can leave it as is. I only shaded the cat. I could have gone in and done more, but because the lines on this drawing are so sketchy, this is Rhubarb Stalk, it kind of almost gives it its own shading because of the way it's drawn, so you really don't have to go crazy. Obviously, depending on what kind of critter or what image you're using, it's going to affect the way it looks. You might want to shade, but you certainly don't have to if you don't want to. Again, I'm working on smooth Bristol cardstock, and it blends with watercolor markers really nicely. You can use other cardstocks too, but this is my personal favorite. This is New Sprout, and I'm just really quickly going over those areas that have the triangles in them. And now we're going to do bamboo leaves to finish that off. It's a nice deep olive green. It's really pretty. It works nicely with the new sprout. So, again, this is not super traditional looking because of the olive colors that I'm using. The Cottage Ivy is more of a traditional green, but, have fun with this stuff. Just play. I grabbed Dandelion so that I could color the eyes. I did leave a little bit of white there to kind of give them some shine. So now what we need to do is trim this baby out. I'm not going to make you watch me do that, but there it is. I pulled out my 6x6 gel press plate, and now I have Spruce, which is one of the newest colors of VersaFine Clair, and I grabbed the Flurries stencil from A Colorful Life Designs and some light pink cardstock from Spellbinders. This matches beautifully with the Angel Pink marker that we used before. So now I've got a cosmetic sponge. I store those individually in little Ziploc pouches just so that I don't get ink all over everything, and so that they don't mix together. And I just keep them in the same drawer that I have my VersaFine Clairs. And you can see that it's really quickly to just kind of get this ink applied nice and easy, and then we have the reveal. And it looks really great. I love these new colors. They're They're wonderful. They really round out the collection nicely. So now we have the Hemstitch rectangle dies from Spellbinders. I love these because of that little hemstitch detail. The outer die that you see there cuts. The inner die only gives you those little squares. So you need to use 2 if you want that hemstitch look. So now I've got it on some burgundy cardstock. This is also from Spellbinders. It's a nice smooth cardstock. It's pretty lightweight. I wouldn't use it for a base, but it's perfect for layering things like this. So now I've got that on there and it's just not popping enough for me. I need something else. So I grabbed like a kind of a light minty green cardstock that I had in my stash. And now I'm going to trim it down so that I have a nice border around that burgundy piece. So I am just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring anything out. I'm just taking a look to see if I like the width of the border that's around that burgundy piece and just cutting it with my guillotine trimmer. Nice and easy. If you want to measure, you can, but I can't be bothered with that, to be perfectly honest with you. So now I've got my layers and I'm putting it on top of a white card base. That's usually what I work on, but I really don't like the white. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use that Morning Mist VersaFine Clair, but I decided instead to go with Rhubarb Stalk. Originally, that Morning Mist was to coordinate with the cat, but I just felt like it needed more of a burgundy color instead of gray. I didn't want to make it kind of, I don't know, I just thought that the Rhubarb Stalk would pop more. And I will say that once that dries down and in correct lighting, it does really match that burgundy cardstock much better than it looks like right here. I wanted to add a little something extra to my die cut, and this is just a fun, simple thing that you can do to any of your cards. It doesn't have to be with all of these other techniques. All of the things that I'm showing you today can be done separately or together. I wanted to show you a smattering of things just so that you had a bunch of ideas going into the holiday season, although I'm sure you're probably already working on cards like this anyway. So I've got Moonlight White Brilliance ink, and I used a sponge dauber to apply some ink to the edge just to kind of soften it a little bit and give it kind of a snowy look. And then I grabbed that Spruce again, and I'm very carefully just going around the edge to darken that up so that it really coordinates with that stenciled background because it's the same color. And that really makes it pop. It looks like there's additional matte there when there really isn't. I went back to that Stamptember set and I chose one of the sentiments and I grabbed a strip of gray cardstock. Now this I chose again because it coordinates with the cat, and I thought that this was a more appropriate way to add gray to the card instead of using the Morning Mist on that card base. And somehow or another, I had it line up perfectly. I don't know. I didn't measure, but the sizing worked really well with the mat. I was like, wow, go me. And I just stamped that sentiment with more Nocturne ink. So that's the card for today. I hope you liked it. Bunch of fun techniques that you can try. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.